So now that you've broken loose the top two bolts that hold the motor plate on, we're going to move down to the bottom plate. There are 3 bolts under there, and you might need to use the short end to get to that. So we're going to use the short end of our L key, and of course, you want to break the top 2 loose as well. So make sure that you've done the same there. And the process is the same for all the different axes, the gantry upright, the front and back plate. Just break them loose enough so that there is a side-to-side movement, but not a up and down or front to back movement. So you can see there is some wobble there, but it does have some up and down movement. So a trick, I tighten one side the tiniest bit, and that kind of pushes up against the bottom plate and allows it to not angle itself. It can still move freely, as you can see here, but it doesn't move up and down anymore. There's no angle, because if that piece is angled, it's going to push and put pressure on the lead screw, and it's not going to align itself correctly. So that's still loose, side to side again, and I really, when I say tighten, I mean a quarter turn even. It's still very loose, but it prevents that movement. So now that we have our top and bottom plate loose, we're going to disengage our e-stop. I cut the power when turning the axes by hand. And we're going to hit home on our z-axis. So it's going to move to the home position. Now again, if it doesn't home correctly, make sure that your rollers are set correctly. So now once it reaches home, we're just going to, again, with the long end, tighten that down. And then we're going to move all the way at 10% speed first. We're going to move down to the bottom of the bed, or we're basically moving the top plate down to the XZ connector. And you can see when it's loose, it's actually going to have a little bit of a helical rotation as the lead screw rotates in turn with the stepper. So we're going to tighten those down, make sure that is nice and aligned. And then we can actually go ahead and test 100%. So on 100% up. Now that we've moved it 100% one way, just tighten down again using the short end of our hex key on those 3 bottom bolts, nice and snug. And then same process the other way. And then finally, just tighten up the top 2 bolts after we ran the axes the other direction at 100%. So now our z-axis is tightened, can move at 100% jog speed, and if our other axes are aligned as well, we should have a perfectly running machine.